Thank you very much for joining us once again today. This is our second lecture on economic substance regulations of UAE. In our previous lecture, we had established there is an annual loss of revenue of 100 billion to 240 billion due to BEPS. This was leading to tax evasion, and to control this tax evasion, 15 action points were decided by OECD and G20 countries. And out of this 15, 4 was the minimum action points that was required to be implemented by each member country of OECD. And out of these 4 minimum standard points, 1 was the harmful tax practices. And to control the harmful tax practices, there is one requirement for the economic substance. UAE, being a member of OECD countries, was supposed to implement these minimum 4 standards, and they had implemented economic substance regulation in that context. We will take the overview of economic substance cabinet decision, then we will see the scope, means on which companies, which entities, on which natural person this is applicable. Then we will see if the entities on which this cabinet decision is applicable, what are they required to do, and if they are not doing, what will be the implications. So let's start this lecture. This is the overview of cabinet decision 31 of 2019. There are total 19 sections. Out of this 19 sections, deals with the definition, this section 2 deals with the objective, 3 deals with the scope. These are the most important sections. This deals with basically which relevant authority, core income generating activities, economic substance test, what is the requirement for the test. This is the most important section. Then how can we assess that economic substance test has been met? It will be decided by the relevant authority. If this is not being met, it will be subject to fines and penalty. There is some sort of requirement for exchange of information as well. So if I'm going to take the very high level overview, I can say if licensee earns income from a relevant activity, they must have economic substance in UAE and they need to satisfy economic substance test. And they are required to do some sort of notification to the relevant authority, and this annual reporting is required as well. So these are 3 keywords. We need to understand what is licensee, what is relevant activity, and how they can satisfy the economic substance test. So first is licensee. Licensee, they said any natural person who has been authorized by the relevant authority to conduct the relevant activity, so it will be considered licensee. Or we can say they are asking any juridical person who has been authorized by the relevant authority, means relevant authority has given them a license to conduct the relevant activity, it will be considered a licensee. There is one exception. They said if this juridical person, I can say this is a company. If this company is owned by the federal government, Emirates government, government authority, or any body of them, at least 51%, then economic substance regulations will not be applicable on it. Any government company in which government is holding less than 51% of shares, still it will come under the definition of licensee. So if this licensee is conducting this relevant activity, it will be subject to economic substance. What is this relevant activity? Means all activities are not falling within the definition of this cabinet decisions. Only these relevant activities are coming in the definition of this cabinet decision. These are 9 relevant activities: banking business, insurance business, investment fund management, lease finance business, headquarters business, shipping business, holding company business, intellectual property business, most risky area, distribution and service center business. These are the 9 activities. If any company which is not held by the government 51% is dealing with these 9 activities, or any natural person which has been authorized by the relevant authority which is dealing with any of these 9 activities, then this cabinet decision will be applicable on them. One more thing, it has been discussed in the definition. They said licensee who is earning income from the relevant act. They are asking earning income. If licensee is not earning income, what will be the implications? If licensee is not conducting the relevant activity, what will be the implications? If the licensee has not done any activity during a specific period, what will be the implication? So this all has been covered in our next slide. So all these questions we can discuss in this slide. So means if licensee, this area cover the licensee. Means if licensee is not conducting the relevant activity, no need of notification, no need of economic substance test, no need of reporting. On the other hand, if licensee is conducting relevant activity and earns income during the financial year, no. So means licensee conduct a relevant activity, but licensee doesn't earn any income during the relevant financial year, then the law said they need to submit the notification only. They are not required to do the economic substance test. They are not required to do any reporting. At the end, if this licensee is conducting any relevant activity, yes. Earning income from the relevant activity, yes. Means licensee conduct the relevant activity, licensee earns the income during the financial year from the relevant activity, then licensee is subject to economic substance test, notification and reporting requirement is there. So if I can go back to the very basic definition we have discussed, licensee who earns income from the relevant activity, they are required to satisfy the economic substance test. And all these conditions are being fulfilled here. For further discussion, we will assume this licensee is conducting relevant activity, licensee earns income from the relevant activity during the financial period. So in this situation, what the licensee is required to do? Licensee to-do list. Licensee required to satisfy the economic substance test. Licensee notify within a time frame decided by the regulatory authority. Licensee reporting within the 12 months from the relevant financial year. This is not 31st December, it will be basically relevant financial year. Licensee needs to exchange the information with the foreign competent authority. Licensee required to retain the record for 6 years. Licensee is required to provide the information as and when required by the authority. So this is the minimum requirement for the licensee if the licensee is conducting any relevant activity and the licensee is earning any income from them. So if the licensee is not doing this, then it will be subject to penalties. If licensee is not satisfying first economic substance test in the first financial year, it will be subject to penalty of 10 to 50,000. In the subsequent year, the penalty will be 100,000 to 300,000 dirham. If the licensee is not notifying, 10 to 50,000 penalty, 10,000 to 50,000. If the licensee is not doing the reporting within 10 to 50,000. If they are not exchanging the information with the related authority, then first failure 10 to 50,000, second failure 100,000 to 300,000. If they are not maintaining the record, means they will not be able to provide the information to the relevant authority, then fine will come 10 to 50,000. In case they are not providing information or they are providing incorrect information, the fine will be 10 to 50,000. And the most important thing, they said there are chances that the trade commercial license can be suspended, withdrawn or not renewed. You need to be very careful. These are the very important requirements and we need to honor it. In our coming lecture, we will see what is economic substance test. Stay with us. Thank you very much.